replacement-wise, the latest name is CHEICK DOUCOURE, obviously Crystal Palace. He's really emerged in the past few days, and there's been a 70 million price tag placed on him. Sammy Mockbell, Daily Mail, did a report on this. Said Palace would sort of start their bidding, if you like, at 70 million, which is interesting because how I read the piece is sort of the Declan Rice fee. In essence, kind of muddied the waters a little bit. Yeah. What's your take on it?
Yeah, well, not just that. I mean, Enzo Fernandez being another example early in the year, but the fact that everyone knows what Liverpool need, you sort of you can play hardball with Liverpool, because if they've got nobody to do the job that they need them to do, then they're going to have to sort of push the button somewhere, aren't they? And I mean, I said to you just before we came on air, really, that Doucouré's not one who's, I wouldn't say he's really come onto my radar in the last 12 months. I know Palace think highly of him, and he's done well, albeit in a side that, let's not forget, was in danger of relegation before it changed its manager. It was the most out of form team in the turn of the year, and cost Patrick Vieira his job. Doing some checks on him, I think he is definitely a name that Liverpool are looking at, or is in the mix. He'd be an interesting signing in the sense of, I think there'd be questions over him on the ball. I think off the ball he would add a lot, and the way it was sort of the questions the sort of conversations I had with people was about, he'd be really good in terms of stopping transitions and stopping that problem that was there last season with Liverpool being too easy to play through. So Fabinho at his best was brilliant at that. He's of that ilk, stopping counter-attacks, winning the ball back. The question would be on, when you're going from, I mean, I wouldn't know, but I'd imagine you'd be having twice as many touches of the ball, at least. His pass completion would have to be sort of 85, 90%. And you'd have to sort of have that progressive pass in you as well, which, he wasn't known for it, but Fabinho did have that diagonal or that little clip pass in the in behind. So that would be the question mark over him. Obviously 70 million is a big price tag. I think Palace played 20, around 20 for him a year ago, so it's a big markup. But like I say, when Liverpool ring you now, you know what they're after, don't you? They're after a deeper midfielder, and if you've got one that you don't have to sell, it hasn't got a release clause, then you can demand what you want for him, can't you? And I think Liverpool will find that. I mean, I had a really interesting conversation with someone on Wednesday morning, and it was, you'd ask that question. Look, everyone's asking it, really. I think you probably must have asked it to all your mates and all the people that you bumped into in Germany. Who would you go for? Who would you buy? Who would be the one? And the answer I got from someone was just, Liverpool have to go for the best. They have to try and get the best, and if that means that they look, that means they have to risk ringing up someone and being told, "Are you messing? Go away." So be it. That's the sort of aim of it. I think back to sort of 12 months ago, United, would Liverpool sign Casemiro now? Do you think? Because if this was the situation, I would say absolutely that would be the one. But would Liverpool do it? That's the question. Would they go and buy 29, 30? Yeah. On a long-term contract. History tells you probably not. But that would be the level. I think that's the level that they need to sort of try and look at. And who that is, it's difficult. Tchouaméni's been linked. I think it looks unlikely he comes out of Real Madrid, but you need to ask the question. Moises Caicedo's at Brighton. Looks like Chelsea are in the front of the queue. Can you get into Moises Caicedo and say, look, you're our man, can we get something done? Similar to sort of when Virgil van Dijk left Southampton, where Liverpool did the groundwork to make sure that he only wanted to come to Liverpool. Can they do that with someone like Caicedo? There's links with Joshua Kimmich. I think that looks pretty much unlikely, but players like that who maybe aren't your classic signings, they're the ones I think Liverpool really need to sort of look and try and get in. I suspect they probably won't. I think they'll probably look at some of the names we're going to talk about. But that was the conversation I had with someone. Was like, they need to move away from that sort of norm, if you like, and I agree with that. I think this is a summer, because of the disruption it's caused and because of the sort of the time constraints on it now, where the season's coming in so quickly and it's so unexpected. I think you sort of have to go for the glamour, if you like, the glamour signing, and the one that you can sort of say, well, he will be good enough. Okay, we might need to fit him into the system. We might need to teach him our ways. But in terms of, we know that he's of that level. It's not a question of we have to do all that, and we don't know yet whether they're quite good enough.
No, absolutely, yeah. And it's interesting that sort of, you're right, because it is a pretty unprecedented situation. We weren't planning for this to be the case, and therefore you need to be reactive. And Liverpool being reactive in transfer windows isn't necessarily the way we like to go about our business. We'd like to have a list of targets sort of already drawn out, and we'll go and get them if we can. If not, we'll move on. But like you say, losing Fabinho sort of on the eve, certainly a pre-season, if not the season, means you do have to think a little bit differently and go about your business a little bit differently. And I feel like the Caicedo one makes a lot of sense. Obviously, we've already got McAllister, so there's no sort of issues in terms of him settling in as well. So it'll be interesting to see how we go about it.
And I think he's the best. I look at it. Listen, Tchouaméni, okay, I haven't seen as much of Tchouaméni, but Liverpool thought he was the best 12 months ago, so you have to put him in that bracket. But you've got a list here that we've all seen the names of Gravenberch and Amrabat and Calvin Phillips and Lavia. Caicedo is far above those, in my opinion, as a player and also as a fit. You look at, he's played at right back. He's sort of got that. He gets about the pitch. He's 21. I know it's a small sample size in terms of his Premier League career. I think it's probably less than 50 games in the Premier League, but he is clearly. I don't think there's any doubt that he's of that level. He's going to play in the Champions League. He's going to be good enough to play at the high end of the Premier League for the next 5-6 years more. So he is, for me, he's the best player and the best fit for Liverpool at this moment. So it's just a question of whether you can whether they're willing to go in. You're not going to outbid Chelsea. You can't blow Chelsea out the water with your bid, because Chelsea will match it, and they have got the capability of matching it. But can you do it in the sort of the sell to the player and saying, look, don't go to Chelsea. Pochettino will be sacked in 3 months' time, and you won't have a clue. Look at Doucouré, he's not kicked on. Can you get in the player's sort of side and do that kind of thing? That might be the only chance they've got with someone like that. But I don't get any encouragement that Liverpool will or have been doing that, or are going to do that. Unfortunately, because I think it'd be the perfect sign. I actually wrote at the start of the summer, funny enough, before I left goal, I wrote that, and it was before McAllister had signed. It was like Caicedo is the one that if you give Liverpool fans one midfielder this summer, it should be him, because he's the one who changes so much and adds so much to the team. Yeah,
and like I say, it does look like he will move on. So Liverpool really should be within that race. And I just want to say as well, Doucouré's under contract at Palace until 2027. So obviously, having only signed last summer, and they really do hold all the cards.
And his future. Palace have got they haven't sold any of their assets really. I know that Wilf Zaha was obviously left on a free. I'm not even sure. Has that been confirmed that he's not going to come back? He's still trying to get him.
Contract,
they're still trying to get him potentially. But they've got obviously Eze and Olise and people like that they're sort of Tariq Mitchell, Mark Gay, who they clearly could sell. They haven't sold anyone yet, have they? I'm not sure how much sort of business they've been doing incoming, but there probably would be an expectation that Palace would let one of their sort of big assets go, if you like, and it could be Doucouré, but as I say, if they were to let Olise leave, then that removes the possibility, or it reduces the possibility of another one going, doesn't it? We saw that at Liverpool with Gakpo in January. There was the reason they went so early in January for Gakpo was because they fought Madueke and Sangare, who's I think he's been linked with someone in the Premier League recently, maybe West Ham.
Could be West Ham.
They were feared that they would go, and that would sort of reduce their chances of getting Gakpo. So it's definitely one to keep an eye on. Doucouré. It's an interesting name. It's not one that I expected to pop up. Sorry, no. But it's definitely a live name.
Yeah, absolutely. It's weird, as you alluded to a moment ago. Like Caicedo's 2 years younger than him, and it doesn't feel like you have to pay much more than 70. Maybe the 70 million fee sort of surprises Liverpool. We go, well, bang on. If we pay 15-20 million extra, we get Caicedo for that. So perhaps that might change the approach. Hey everyone, I hope you've enjoyed that little segment of my chat with the brilliant Neil Jones. If you want want to watch or listen to the show in full, head to redmenplus.com and sign up as either a captain or a legend, and you will get all that content, plus all the other amazing content that we do over here on Red Men. And of course, the season is just around the corner, so as well as all the amazing transfer stuff, match day stuff is also returning. So go over there and get it done.
Thank you so much for watching this free video here on YouTube. If you want to get your name in amongst the list of names on these end cards, then go over to redmenplus.com and join as a club legend. You'll get 2 free pieces of merch throughout the year, extra bonus perks, and your name in the end credits of YouTube videos.